Okay, so I'm sitting in my car, okay? I think it's the only place where they can't hear me. But, like, um, I'm still trying to get the tape. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm still trying to get this taste of copper out of my mouth. But, like, I was just sitting at my kitchen table before I decided to make this next journal entry. And I was just, for like a few hours, I was just staring at the grain of the table, making sure it like stays put in a way. Like, it's been like 4 hours since the world tried to delete my front door, basically. And, you know, I stopped shaking after like 30 minutes. I mean, I am still kind of shaking a little bit, as you can see. But, like, it's crazy. Kay was sitting across from me, and she was quiet the entire time. She was just tracing the lines of the table with her hand, trying to make sure, like, the textures are solid. But, like, basically what happened is yesterday there was this knocking at the front door, and it wasn't like a normal knocking sound, like, no, it was like this rhythmic pulse that felt like it was coming from inside my own skull. And I looked at the door, and the wood on the door was just like fraying. It was like a low-res texture from a game from like 2004 or something. And then this dude walked in, okay? You know, he was wearing a suit that probably cost more than the entire apartment complex. It was like crisp gray, like completely perfect, like not a stain on it, nothing. It was just perfect. And then the one noticeable difference in the entire thing was his face. His face was blurred. It was like pixelated smear of like beige and shadow or something. Like, you couldn't see it. Like, he looked like a high-end corporate executive or something, who had been censored by the universe, or like something like that. But like, he didn't even wait for an invite to walk in. He just pulled out a chair and sat down, and he was moving. It was weird. He was like moving with this weird, fluid, terrifying precision. Just like, he was there for business, bro. And I cannot tell you, there was the smell of like electric fire the entire time. It was like, you know, like a burnt out motherboard or something, you know, burnt out electronics. Basically, it was that kind of smell, but it was like so thick I could chew on it in a way. And I could feel him look right into my eyes. He looked right into my eyes. And, like, I don't know, he didn't raise a voice. He just sounded like a man discussing a stock portfolio over a glass of expensive scotch. Like, he was there for business, like I said. We had this camera in our apartment that we installed. Basically, I got the whole thing. The entire thing was glitchy, but the audio was there. So I have pulled up what he said. He said, Asset 0. Your presence in this residential sector represents a significant statistical deviation in our quarterly reality render. Then he said, to put it in terms your limited hardware can grasp, you are an unallocated drain in our bandwidth. And the entire time I was just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? And like, I don't know. And I was going to say something. He just held out his hand like this, like that. And then he goes on to say, let's be precise. The STC has invested a substantial amount of human capital and computational power into your stabilization. $2.4 million. $2.4 million is, in the grand scheme of the board's interest, a rounding error. However, we do not tolerate clerical inconsistencies. And he said, your current state, this Weaver, apparently that's what they're calling this voice or whatever in my head. They said, this Weaver infection in your marrow, it's an unauthorized misappropriation of a corporate property. Like, he's just putting out all these freaking words I can barely understand. Like, yeah. And then basically, Kay was over by the stove at this time, and she was just horrified. I think she could see what I was seeing, in a sense, or something. I knew she could see what I was seeing, because her knuckles were like, she was gripping the counter so tight, her knuckles were white. I don't know, this agent just, I don't know. And like, I was just kind of explaining my situation. Like, I didn't ask for any of this. I was just out there looking for scraps. I didn't want any of this to happen. And but he basically what he goes on to say next is intent is irrelevant in a standardized environment. Results are the only currency we acknowledge. He says you have acquired a debt of existence. Currently, your account is in the state of catastrophic arrears. Under normal protocols, you would simply initiate a total system purge or something, which, as it says, as like, you know what a total system purge, like a factory reset of a computer, basically that of my entire nerve system is what he wanted to describe. But basically, he said that you would cease to be a user and return to being raw data or something. And then, like, I felt like this presence I have inside, like, I can feel, like, in my spine or something. Like, I could just feel my spine go cold. Like, this thing he called the Weaver, like, went cold. It's like this thing, this Weaver in me knew what purge meant, or was afraid. But anyway, the agent goes on to say, however, the board is curious. You have a unique resonance. Most units would have de-rendered within minutes of contact with he said, class 0 signal. I don't know what that means. Then he said, you, on the other hand, have managed to maintain a surprisingly stable frame rate. He says, we have decided to offer you a restructured service agreement. And I don't know what I was thinking the entire time. I was just processing everything in my head. And then everything just kind of goes quiet, like completely quiet. When he puts his tablet, he pulls out the suitcase he's carrying and slides the tablet across the table. And it was like, I don't know. It was weird. And then he said, option A, you settle your balance with $2,483,112.14 immediately. Like, I had to pay it then and there. And he said, option B, you become a field operational unit. A gig worker is how he put it. For these people called the cleaners. And then he goes on to explain, like, there are sectors of the city where the rendering is thin, places where the static is leaking, whatever the fuck that means. And he said, you will go into these zones, you will perform the necessary maintenance, and for every successful stitching, we will credit your account. And then he moved in closer to me, and the smell of ozone was, like, just got so strong, it was burning my eyes. It was like, I don't know. And then he says, think of it as a career move. You are currently a broken file. He said, work for us, it might just keep you on the hard drive. Refuse and we'll be forced to format the entire apartment. And then this is the part that made my blood run cold. I really wanted to hit him here, but I held back. He said, we wouldn't want your charming girlfriend to be burdened with the corrupted data of your memory, would you? Like, what the hell? Leave Kay out of the whole freaking situation. Kay had nothing to do with it. Alright? I wanted to tell him off there, but I didn't know what to say. I was kind of stuck in the fucking situation. Alright, I didn't ask for any of this. Alright, I didn't even have a choice. I knew it. This thing called the Weaver knew it. Kay knew it. I had no choice but to sign. Alright. And then the agent just stood up, took the tablet, walked to the door, and as he on his way, he said, welcome to the payroll, asset 0. Don't be late for your first shift. The universe doesn't like to be kept waiting. And then he just, like, walked out the door, and he just, like, before he even walked through it, he just snapped out of view. You know, like, when a movie just kind of cuts? You know, like, the old film movies, you know, and they have, like, the little static glitches, and they kind of cut. It was just like that. He was just gone. And everything was just back to normal. Like, the smell of ozone was just kind of still there. I can still kind of taste it in a way. But, like, he was just gone. And now, I need to get this down for the records, but, like, I don't know what to do. Alright, I don't know. I've been getting these weird texts and whatnot. I think saying that I have for my first assignment, like, on 28th Street or something, about leaking, about a laundromat that's leaking its floor plan into the sidewalk. But basically, at this point, I'm just a debt slave. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna try figuring things out, and I'll continue to make notes on this. All right, but like, I need to get this down some way or another, in case they do something to me, so everyone knows to look out for these people. All right.